Hello everyone and welcome along to round 17 of the SRL PS4 World Championship here from Austin, Texas. Well, we've got 4 rounds to go. We've got 4, arguably 5 championship contenders all fighting it out. And of course, there's only one winner. We're going to find out today, are we going to be any closer to discovering the world champion this year? Alongside me, I've got Alex Fretwell. And Alex, what a place to be and what a situation the championship is in at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be back in the com box for this one. We were just discussing before we went on air how this is one of our favourite Tilke tracks. Definitely one of the more classic racetrack layouts rather than the long straights and chicanes that we've seen a couple of times. But yeah, the championship poised nicely.
Yeah, poised really nicely, and let's have a quick rundown of that championship. It is Shimasi at the moment on top of the standings, but only by a mere 3 points. He's got 196 to his name. It's Pitmat in second position. He has been on a charge lately. He's picked up 4 successive podiums, including a victory in Singapore. He is the man on form at the moment. He's closed right up to within 3 points at the top of the standings. Then it's Ash Richardson in third position. He's got 181 points, 15 off the lead, still well within a shout. And then just about clinging on, 32 points back, is Matt Meerkat in fourth. An outside bet maybe? We'll see if he can go on and lift the crown. And surely an outsider, surely going to drop off in the closing stages of this championship. The 5th contender, if you could call it a 5th contender, is of course Skeevan. He sits 52 points off the title leader and 144 points. He really needs to win the last 4 races and pretty much just hope for the best. Alex, that's the situation. How do you read it at the moment? Can you pick a winner at this stage?
Well, obviously Shimasi and Pitmat, just 3 points between them at the top, so they'd have to be the 2 favourites at the minute. You say Skeevan's got to take 4 wins from the final 4 races. He's not actually won a race since the opening race this season at Melbourne, so that'd be quite a feat if you can pull that off.
Yeah, it would be, and of course Skeevan really struggling in general for any sort of consistency. That opening win in Melbourne, unable to replicate it. Whenever he finishes on the podium with the exception of just 1 Grand Prix in Japan. So for Skeevan to do it, yeah, it's a pretty long shot. So if anyone puts a bet on that one and ends up winning, I think they're going to be spending quite a lengthy retirement period. I think they'll have quite a bit of money. But let's have a little look at the cars on the racetrack. For the first time in qualifying here in Texas, it's a beautiful afternoon, and I'm riding on board with one of the title contenders. We've got Pitmat flowing through what is a Maggotts Beckett's like complex. Tilke taking some stuff here from the traditional racetracks, the great racetracks in Formula 1, the legendary circuits, and implementing one of the most brilliant corners in motorsport, the best sequence of corners in motorsport from Silverstone and Maggotts Beckett's like complex. And now we watch Pitmat then heading out of the hairpin and down at this long back straight. This is where the most overtaking you would think will happen in the Grand Prix tomorrow. He opens up that DRS and heads down towards the braking zone, and it's a very heavy braking zone, a good opportunity for a few dives up the inside. And Alex, it leads into this really tight twisty section and it allows cars to continue their battle even after an overtake's completed in the straight, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, and particularly this corner that Pitmat's coming through now, a few different lines into that corner. You go wide and cut back, or stick on the inside, so there's opportunity for overtaking there, despite it being the tighter section of the track. And of course we've seen, even if you need to take a little more track, we've seen Verstappen getting a bit adventurous through there, so yeah, plenty of chances around this track.
Yeah, very controversial that moment with Max Verstappen through there, and again taking some stuff from other racetracks, just like Istanbul Turn 8, only the other way around that corner we were speaking about there, 3 from the end. And Pitmat's gone quickest on a 1 minute 33.448, the opening time on the board. Shimasi, his title rival, slots in second place. So is this early signs then of Pitmat versus Shimasi? Diego Keller. Oh, Cherry Tupai goes quickest now. 3/10 ahead of the 2 title rivals. So here we go then, the Scotsman, Cherry Tupai, starting to get himself involved in the battle at the front, and that's something we've noticed a little bit in the second half of the season. The likes of Cherry Tupai, we've seen it at Spa when we were together, Alex. Cherry Tupai, Red Jams, getting himself involved with the title contenders, and again, Cherry Tupai really showing what he's capable of here today, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got noted down beforehand here that I'm expecting to see a 32.9, so possibly a bit more to come out of some of the title contenders. And that's a big thing to say when we were discussing Stephen as well. Even if he's not a full contender for the title, he'll definitely have a say in who it goes to.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen will get involved, and Pitman as well, and of course Cherry 2 Cherry 2 will get involved as well. There's that many match, and it's impossible to know which mat's what. But there's Red Matt. Let's have a look at him. Birthday boy yesterday. Asked for a shout out. He's getting a shout out. So happy birthday to Red Matt. That was yesterday. So happy belated birthday to him. And he'll be hoping for a good result here in the United States and Texas. But at the moment, with 6 minutes to go, we've just gone past the halfway point, or about to reach the halfway point, I should say. Cherry 2 on top, 133.1. Pitmat second, 133.4. And a Shimasi. There you go, Alex. Get that notepad out. There you go, bang on. Shimasi, 132.9. There we go,
yeah.
Then. Shimasi, the first good time on the board. There you go, and that's quite impressive, isn't it? Given the pressure these guys are under in this title fight.
Absolutely. There's a reason he's at the top of the board at the moment.
Yeah, brilliant effort from Shimasi, 132.9. Cherry 2 133.1. Red Matt, the birthday boy, goes into third place on a 133.3. And of course, that is now Red Jams, of course, change of name there. Pitmat fourth, 133.4. Diego Killer is fifth. Matt Meerkat sixth. Frisky CG 7th, Julian is 8th, and his Dutch counterpart Town is in 9th position. Ash Richardson only 10th at the moment, and we wait for the rest of the runners to set a competitive time. Now, as for strategy around this track, is it a 1, is it a 2? I've seen a mixture. I've seen some people try 1, I've seen some people try 2. Ultrasofts seem to be the best bet here for qualifying, that seems to be what everyone's running. But I'll be honest with you, I've got no idea what the best bet is. I think it's a 2-stop. But some people might try the 1, and it could work out, and it might just fade away. But it's going to be really interesting, Alex, isn't it, to see who tries a 1 and who tries a 2.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I think a lot of it depends on where you qualify. If you're up the front, you're probably going to go for a 2, and do something along the lines of ultra soft, super soft towards the end. If you're down the back, you'd probably try a set of softs and go to the ultra softs later on. So yes. Bit of a tight crossover, but I'd say the majority would go for a 2-stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. 2-stop for the most part. But if anyone's feeling desperate, maybe Skeeven in that championship battle, maybe Matt Meerkat 32 points down in the lead. He might feel the need to stretch his run out as we watch Julian go really wide and coming into the pits after that run. So we've got a little lull in the session. Have we got anyone out there on the racetrack? No, we do not. Everyone in the pits at the moment, but Shimasi, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. Straight into the 32s, the only man in the 32s, and he'll be hoping to extend his championship advantage leaving here and move on to Mexico and hopefully give himself a buffer going into the final 2 rounds and reduce that pressure that is beginning to mount. Because one mistake here, and Shimasi doesn't just lose 1 place in the championship, there's a possibility he could lose 2 places. Ash Richardson well within a shout, but he is some 3.5 seconds down at the moment. We've got 3.5 minutes left in qualifying, and the cars are beginning to make their way back down the pit lane and out for their final runs, and Shimasi looking really good at the moment. Alex, I've got to ask you, we've got an exciting race up here tomorrow. Apart from the long straight, where else do you see some overtaking? Do you think down to turn 1 there's a real possibility for some moves?
Yeah, turn 1, very wide entry to that corner. We've seen on a couple of the latest additions to the F1 calendar. Very different design of entry to the corner. Uphill as well, so you can get on the brakes nice and late. And as we've mentioned, there's a couple of opportunities even in this final sector to get up the inside of someone. Worth noting as well, for the 2-stop, there's 2 factors that give that a huge benefit around here. The pit lane is relatively short, so you lose minimal amount of time in the pits, and you can overtake, so you're not going to get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, well, there you go. Very good point, Alex, and that will be fresh in the minds of the engineers working in overdrive, trying to work out the best strategy. But we believe, from what we've seen in practice, the 2-stop will be the best bet as we watch Diego Killer on a flying lap, wringing the neck out of that McLaren as he goes through the Maggots-Beckett's light complex towards the end of that first sector. And the McLaren, not the quickest in a straight line, but they claim to have one of the best chassis in Formula 1, and Diego Killer really proving it then as he heads down towards the hairpin. And this is another place we can see overtaking. We've seen that before as well, so many opportunities on this racetrack for a move. So Diego Killer heads down that long back straight, opens up the DRS, currently 5th quickest at the moment. 7/10 away from the pole. Can't get any closer to Shimasi at the top of the board. It will be pretty delighted at the moment, Shimasi. Not a championship rival near him. Pitmat in 4th place is his closest championship rival. If qualifying ended now, he would be absolutely delighted. So Diego Keller then flying through this middle sector. And now gets onto the gas. And now through this long, winding right-hander, really hurts the tyres. And this is part of the reason. This is one of the few tracks we have to have a 2-stop. And it just really hurts the tyres. And Diego Keller wringing the neck out of the McLaren as he heads through the final corner then. He's got time right in front of him. I don't think it's going to affect him too much. Diego Keller for the line, and he moves up into 4th place and displaces Pitmat. So a good effort there to get within half a second of Shimasi on top. So who is furthest round the racetrack at the moment that we need to watch? Pitmat's on a slow one out the pits at the moment. Matt Meerkat's on a quick one. And who else have we got out there? Skeven, we're waiting on a time from Skeven. He's on one at the moment, we'll keep an eye on him. But right now, I think the best man to watch is Matt Meerkat. I think he's furthest round. He's backed out, It's Diego Keller has had enough. It's 4th at best for him. So there'll be no improvement from him. So let's find Skeven, who, as we know, is a complete outsider in this World Championship, taking a very wide entry. And they're heading now through this long sweeping right-hander in the Ferrari. The Ferrari fans waiting in the grandstand, anticipating a good effort here from Stephen. Can he get this car up towards the front of the grid? Cherry Tupai unable to improve. He sits second for now. Here comes Stephen in the Ferrari, round the final corner, heading for the start line. What's it going to be from Stephen? It was a 33.3, but it must have been invalidated because it has not been counted. So where is Shimasi? He's coming round the final corner. Shimasi for the line, not quick. He's going again though. He has got time to go again, I believe, Shimasi. So who else is out there pushing? Is that Pitmat and Ollie giving each other a tow down the straight? It is. Ollie giving his teammate a tow down the long back straight to help him in his championship charge. Ash Richardson has gone up into 6th place now. He's on another lap, the Renault driver. It needs to be better than this because it's not happening for the Welshman. And I don't think it is going to happen for him here. Into the final corner comes Ash Richardson, a 32.9 to beat. He's not going to be near it. He stays 6th quickest. And this has not worked out well at all for him. What about Pitmat? Can he get any closer to Shimasi? Currently 5th quickest, half a second away. He needs to get onto that front row. Shimasi won't improve in the 32.9. Can Pitmat improve? He can. Up into 3rd position. And he keeps himself alive in that battle in the race tomorrow. Here comes Matt Meerkat now in 7th position. Almost a full second shy of the pole time. He really needs to pull it out of the back here. The Force India driver flying through that sweeping right-hander. He has to move up here. Only a 10th that he needs to find to move up ahead of Ash Richardson in 6th. So he's a chance to move up 2 places here. It's very tight in that midfield. Julian crosses the line, 8th at best. Here comes Matt Meerkat out of the final corner. And he does move up into that 6th place that we spoke about. And it's not really the greatest pace in the world for Matt Meerkat if he wants to contend for the championship, and 6th is not ideal at all. So there is your United States Grand Prix qualifying session. Shimasi, the championship leader, will be delighted when he goes into Parc Ferme and reads those times. He's on top with a 132.910. It's Cherry Tupai second. What an effort from him, a 133.1. Pitmat sits 3rd. Close enough to Shimasi, I suppose. Redman in 4th, Diego Keller 5th. Championship contenders Matt Meerkat and Ash are 6th and 7th. Jacob 8th, Julian 9th, and CJ sits down in 10th. Well, Alex, your thoughts on that session? Shimasi looking pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, if there's any pressure at the top of the championship, he's not showing it there, is he? But it's a disaster for Skeven. Well down.
Yeah, Skeven well out of the picture, and I would presume now out of the championship. You might as well forget about his hopes for the title unless he can pull off an absolute masterclass in this US Grand Prix. What does the weather bring? Let's find out. It's raining. Look at this, Alex. What an ingredient. What an addition to the ingredients in the pot we have here. This is brilliant stuff. Rain has greeted us here on Sunday for race day. We've got 4 title contenders, arguably 5. And we have got rain to mix it up. If you remember the 2015 US Grand Prix, it was chaotic, and this one promises to be chaotic as well. Can Shimasi do the business from pole position? The lights are going on in the rain here in Austin. We are racing now! And Shimasi leads away from Paul on those intermediate tyres. All the drivers in the field going for the inters as they head towards turn 1. And it looks like it's Cherry 2 by second. Pitman having a look in third. He holds on to third place. And there you go, there's a few bumps in the background there. I think one of the Ferraris, may have had an issue there, but it's all plain sailing for Shimasi. He leads his way through the Beckett's complex in the lead with Cherry 2 by second, Pitman third, Diego Killer up 1 into 4th position, and Matt Meerkat crucially up 1 into 5th. Red Matt had a nightmare start, Alex, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely, and I saw some contact towards the back, saw a front wing flying. I can just about see that it's the front left corner of Skeven, so yeah, not maximising his chance from the rain. He's got front wing damage on lap 1.
Skeven not looking good whatsoever for this title now. It's all over really. Let's just
contact his teammate.
Sorry?
The two Ferraris coming together there.
Oh, let's have a look. Where are they? There they are. Yeah, very close together. And now he's going alongside Jacob. Is he going to make the move? Stick on Jacob. As they approach the braking zone, he is now. But contact, you said, down at the hairpin. Did you explain it, Alex? What happened?
More contact. The other side of the front wing gone.
Yeah, he's really damaged it now. And Steven's race is totally ruined already. Both sides of the front wing damage. He will have to come into the pits. There's no way that Ferrari will be able to continue in a competitive state like that. And Steven is out of the championship battle. I think it's fair to say that now, if he ever was in it, heading into this Grand Prix. And look at Shimasi out front. He's pulled a 2-second lead already over Cherry 2 and he's looking really good in these early stages. Pitmat trying his best to get onto the back of Cherry 2 and start the hunt for Shimasi. Can he make a move as they go through the final corner? Look at them squirming and sliding their way through there. Really tricky conditions. And Alex, on a track like this with a lot of bumps, a lot of climbs, a lot of tips, rivers can form, can't they?
Yeah, it can be over within a second, so concentration at a premium here. But yeah, the incident with Skeven on lap 1 there, I think it was already struggling with understeer from that damaged front wing, just plain locked his inside front straight into the side of his teammate. I don't think any extra damage was done to either car in that contact. It was contact with the Williams, the following corner that took the other side off.
Well, it's a real shame to see him bow out of this championship fight. But yeah, as you say, one collision wasn't enough. He made sure they hit the back of the Williams of Arctic Devils heading into the middle sector of the lap, and yeah, not really what you want to be doing. As Shimasi continues to lead by 1.9 seconds to Cherry 2 in second. Then a real train of cars as we lose Lamaro, by the way. We've lost time. We've got a yellow flag out there as well. Why is that? I'm not sure why. Sector 1, I think it's the retired car of Lamaro just coasting round. I'm not sure what it was, but we've lost him. As Cherry 2 really starts to be straight Pitmat here. Shimasi 2 seconds ahead, and Pitmat right on the tail of Cherry 2 with Diego Killer and Matt Meerkat and Ash Richardson and Red Matt and Frisky CJ all in a line queuing up to have a look at Cherry 2 in second position. And Shimasi will be loving this. He will be absolutely loving it. What an opportunity to pull away and just run away into the distance, really. And in these damp conditions, it's always easier being at the front when it comes to visibility. You can see what's ahead of you a lot more. If you're in the middle of the pack, there's a lot of spray kicking up. You cannot see anything apart from the red flashing light on the car in front. The problem Shimasi does have, though, is that he's the first man to hit a corner, so he doesn't know if there's a river appearing or there's some more rain at that area of the racetrack, and it makes it a little bit more tricky for Shimasi in that sense. But all in all, I don't know about you, Alex, I'd rather have the visibility and be able to see what's going on in front of me. As we see a move, Diego Killer and Matt Meerkat, and I think Matt Meerkat unable to find a way past the McLaren driver, but he was certainly trying to. And Diego holds his position and holds that 4th place. But Alex, yeah, what's your opinion on that? Do you think you'd rather have the clean air of having nothing in front of you, or would you rather have a few guinea pigs ahead of you on the racetrack?
Oh, you definitely want to be out front in these conditions. Even though you're the first on the scene, the visibility is one point when you're in the pack, but the other thing, you can get drawn into someone else's incident through no fault of your own. So yeah, definitely want to be out of the pack, and Shimasi's stretching his legs at the moment. Yeah,
for 2.5 seconds now, and he's proving exactly that being at the front of the pack is a far better thing. And Cherry 2 struggling for confidence a little bit here, and they're struggling to keep on to the tail of him, and Pitmat, meanwhile, is not really gaining as much as I thought. Was that damage there? I think it was. Matt Meerkat and Ash Richardson coming together, I believe, the two championship contenders. And that is just what Shimasi wanted to hear, and not what these two wanted to hear at all. So, front wing damage on the left side for Matt Meerkat. Ash Richardson gets away with it, no issues for him. But Matt Meerkat has also dropped down into 7th position, and his championship hopes beginning to fade as well. Remember, 4th in this championship, 32 points off the lead. This is a race where he needs to be taking points out of Shimasi, and at the moment, it doesn't look likely whatsoever. Front wing damage in the midfield with no real pace, not going anywhere, and it's not looking good for him at all as Frisky CJ gets up behind Red Mat on the way into turn 1 and unable to find a way through. And without the DRS, overtaking can be a little bit more difficult on the F1 2017 game. It's strange. Usually in that conditions you get more overtaking, but strangely it can be tricky without the DRS. And with slipstream limited on this game as well, it makes it even harder. Frisky CJ trying his best to get onto the tail of Red Mat, who's also chasing down Diego Killer. Meanwhile, down in the battle for 11th and 12th, we've got two Dutch drivers, and Skeven's in there as well, holding them up with that damaged front wing further down the field. That's one to watch. Skeven just about holding off Tyne and Julian at the moment. The two Dutch drivers right on his tail. And look at this. Tyne having a look at the back of the Ferrari. Is he going to dive up the inside, going into the hairpin? He might have a look, you know. He is having a look. He dives for the inside. Is Tyne going to complete the move? Side by side with the Ferrari. Julian fancies a piece of this as well. And onto the accelerator. And it's now a drag race. And Skeven gets the better exit on those intermediate tyres. Now Tyne tucks right into the rooster tail behind the Ferrari. Side by side. Julian in behind fancies a piece of it as well. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, he's not. And Skeven just about holds on, but runs a little bit wide. And there you go. Tyne's going to be through, surely. He is through. And maybe even Julian as well. Oh, the banging wheels. No love lost between the pair. And Julian just about finds his way past Skeven. And Skeven loses another place as through goes Looney. And has Skeven disconnected? Yes, he has. And that is a 9th DNF of the season for Skeven. And Alex, you got to say that sums up his season, doesn't it?
Yeah, on and off, and didn't start well from the start of qualifying, really, did it? 2 lap times disallowed, and then what a disaster of a race, unfortunately. So down to 4, absolutely now.
Completely finished. Out of the championship hunt goes Skeven, and it will be mathematically the case if Shimasi goes on to win this race, because he will be more than 75 points behind. I don't think Skeven will be too bothered, though. I think he knew his chances were shot to pieces already, but that will put the final nail into his championship coffin, as Tyne is now released with Julian in 11th, right on his tail, and Looney in 12th, all battling over that final points paying position at the moment. Meanwhile, Frisky CJ very close to the back of Diego Killer, and on a move, the Mercedes driver. He's been following for a while, picking up places as Matt Meerkat and Ash Richardson faltered, and now he fancies a move. But even then, look at this little battle here between Arctic and Ash Richardson as well. Some great battles going on throughout the field. Is that Matt Meerkat running a little bit deeper? It is, and now Arctic Devils can smell blood here. Can he have a look at the back of the Force India going down that straight? Tucked in behind in the slipstream. Ash Richardson tucking in as well. Is he going to have a look up the inside of Arctic? Remember, Matt Meerkat limping a little bit with damage. And Arctic defends to the inside and holds on to that 8th place. And actually, we're having a little look at Matt Meerkat there as well, as Frisky CJ also gets a lot closer to the back of Diego Killer, really homing in on him. And Redbat running wide there in 4th place, and that will allow Diego Killer through, will it? Somehow, Redbat finds a traction on the wet paint on the outside of the racetrack there and holds on to that 4th position. Diego Killer realises an opportunity but unable to take advantage because he didn't have the momentum coming out of that corner, and Frisky CJ remains right on his tail, Alex.
Yeah, it's 2 good 3-way battles going on at the moment for, between Redmat, Diego Killer and CJ, and also just behind them we've got Arctic Devils, who's up the inside of Matt Meerkat as well.
Yep, having a look at Arctic Devils, but unable to find a way through on Matt Meerkat. It is very tricky in these damp conditions, as I've mentioned, as Arctic Devils having another look at Matt Meerkat. Yes, once again into turn 1, not close enough to make a move. And that's the other problem you have when you're going offline in these tricky conditions. It's it's so much more water, and there's so much less grip, and it makes things even more tricky. And we've seen a few cars run and lose the front wing, as we've seen with Skeven bumping into the side of the Williams when he went offline on the opening lap of Arctic Devils, and that just proves my point. Sometimes you have to just follow and follow and follow and just wait for a mistake from the car in front. But Arctic Devils right up behind Matt Meerkat again. Is he having another look into the hairpin? He has a look, and there's the mistake I was talking about. Matt Meerkat goes deep, but he's going to have great traction because he'll be on the throttle well now. They go banging wheels down the straight, and Matt Meerkat just about holds off Arctic Devils for the moment, who will again go into the slipstream behind the Force India and tow himself into position for a move, maybe in the braking zone. No, once again, left waiting, and again, Matt Meerkat with that damaged front wing struggles, and through goes Arctic Devils up into 7th position. And is that? Has we got another yellow flag out there? It's quickly. Oh no, it's not away. Skeven.
Skeven, yeah, rejoined.
Skeven's rejoined, and he's doing donuts to celebrate his ending of his championship, I presume. Okay, welcome back. But Shimasi out in front, 3.1 seconds.
Stop 3.
Yeah, oh wow. So it has. So that will be interesting. What tyres will the drivers go on? It has stopped raining now. And as I look out my commentary box window and look to the heavens, dry weather looks like to be on the cards, because the grey clouds are moving away and some white fluffy clouds are moving in. No sign of the sunshine poking through just yet. And as I look to the grandstands as well, a few umbrellas going down. So maybe a drying track. And potentially...
Matt Meerkat's gone for the ultra soft tyres, new front wing on that car as well.
Is that a bit early?
Worth the gamble in his position.
Well, he's got to gamble. We said it at the top of the show. The likes of Matt Meerkat, the likes of Skeven, would they try one stop in dry conditions? Well, what Matt Meerkat's done has gone for a set of dry tyres relatively early. Is this going to work, or is it going to fall apart? Let's find out. If it doesn't work, you might as well scribble him out of the championship battle as well and reduce us to 3, because Shimasi at the moment is in no mood to let these guys cling on to their championship hopes, as Skeven continues to struggle out there on the runoff. But Matt Meerkat running 14th now, and he's on to those ultra soft tyres. He's not going quickly yet, Alex, but he does look like he's keeping the car on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to say the same thing though. He's keeping it on the road, and that's crucial because he can gain the temperature and build up. And yeah, as soon as the track is right, then he'll already have that temperature in those tyres. So he was between Arctic Devils and Ash Richardson before he made that stop. It'd be interesting to see how it all pans out.
Yes, well, I don't think Matt Meerkat will hold on. I think he's come in just a little bit too early, not massively early. He's around, what's the gap, 4.4 to Jacob? Let's see if that comes down or goes up over the next few moments as Julian and Tyne continue the all-Dutch battle for 9th and 10th. They had a good duel in Malaysia, a few good duels in Malaysia. And they were looking to continue that here as they go through the final corner. And maybe we'll see some more overtaking as the track dries out. The DRS being in action, Alex, you think that might lead to some more action?
Yeah, hopefully liven things up a bit, but to be honest, at the front it's all spread out. It's those, as we've said, those three-way battles a bit further down that's going to provide the excitement. Shimasi comfortable 3.5 seconds ahead at the moment. It's been like that for quite a few laps now.
Yeah, I wonder if the dry conditions will allow Cherry Tupai or Pit Matt to close in, as I watched Julian following Tyne, and those inters really starting to look short. And Matt Meerkat's made an inspired call. He's closing in on Jacob now. Look at that, 3.8 the gap between Jacob and Matt Meerkat. So maybe you're right, Alex. Maybe it's quite possible that Matt could move up a few places here, and maybe the turn to the points and the turn to the championship battle. But at the moment, it's still looking rather bleak because he had to change that front wing as well. And Julian still following Tyne and still unable to get close enough at any part of the racetrack. He's got the dirty air through that first sector, and then he's got no DRS going down those long straights, and it makes things very, very, very tricky and extremely frustrating as we go back to Arctic Devils now in a three-way battle with Diego Keller and Frisky CJ, and he's right under the tail of Frisky. Arctic Devils putting on a pretty decent effort here, keeping tabs on CJ and looking like threatening that position, Alex.
Yeah, it's been close for a while between these two. Arctic just not quite able to make the move stick, but yeah, they're catching Diego Killer as well. So yeah, that's becoming its own little three-way fight. We've got Red Matt as well in pits as Pit Matt and Cherry 2 Pie as well, so we're going to see more ultra soft tyres, I think.
Yeah, that will look like a two-stop. Cherry 2 Pie is going for softs, Pit Matt going for the ultra soft. So is Cherry 2 Pie going to try and take those to the end of the Grand Prix? Yeah, quite possibly, but I don't think it's going to work. I wouldn't think that would work. But best of luck to him. It will make for an interesting race.
Got the same choice. Different course all over the board here. It'll be difficult to
it's very interesting how this is going to pan out. So Ash Richardson and Red Matt going for soft tyres. Ash Richardson, understandably, he has to pull a pit stop here on the likes of Shimasi to try and get himself back into this race, doesn't he? Pit Matt, interestingly, gone for the ultras, as you mentioned, and obviously feels a two-stop is the way to go from here. Can he do ultras? That's the interesting question. Ultras. What do you think, Alex?
We've got 20 laps. It's doable, yeah. Just interesting to note that Matt Meerkat has dropped back a bit. What's he dropped back? About 7 seconds from the back of Ash Richardson, so changing the wing as well. He's just about lost out on that.
He has. Now the question is, will Shimasi lose out to Cherry 2 Pie? I don't think he'll lose out too much. We'll find out though, as we're right on board with Shimasi, your race leader and championship leader, looking to extend his advantage in this championship. The McLaren driver heads to the final couple of corners. Will he stay out again to try and go on a one-stop? Or is he coming in? He's going to come in now. And probably... what do you think, Alex? Any idea what he might try? Two-stop, one-stop? Call it now. What do you think?
Personally, I'd cover Pit Matt and go for the Ultra Softs. It's his main championship rival. And probably the main rival for the race as well, because Cherry 2 Pie is quite low on fuel compared to Pit Matt and Shimasi, so I think that will pan out in the favour of Pit Matt towards the end of this race.
Well, he's gone for soft tyres, interestingly, Shimasi. And is that Cherry 2 Pie taking the lead? Oh my goodness, he is taking the lead! Oh, what an undercut that is from Cherry 2 Pie. Timing the tyres to absolute perfection. He goes from inters onto the soft tyre, and now Shimasi, all of a sudden, from cruising out front, has got a race on his hands, and Cherry 2 Pie moves up into a surprise lead of the United States Grand Prix. Alex, what a call from the lads down at Haas.
Yeah, perfectly timed that one, wasn't it? And yeah, as we say, this could help Pit Matt out, but Shimasi's got 2 laps of fuel, so he can play with the rich mode and push to pass on Cherry 2 Pie. Is he going to try it this first time out?
Well, we'll see. This is going to be very exciting now. As you say, Pit Matt can smell blood. He's on the ultra soft, so he will have to do a two-stop. So he has to get onto these guys and pass them immediately and make it work. He'll be praying for Shimasi to be held up by Cherry 2 Pie for as long as possible. But as you say, he's got 2 laps extra fuel in his pocket, Shimasi, and Cherry 2 Pie, so it's going to be very difficult for Cherry 2 Pie to hold on for 18 laps. Personally, I think Shimasi has got a little bit in his pocket, and the fuel shows that as he moves right onto the tail now of Cherry 2 Pie. He's going to surely move into a position to make the move at the end of this lap or the next one. As soon as that DRS becomes active, Cherry 2 Pie will be under pressure, but can he hold position and make this as difficult as possible? Lap 10 out of 28, all the drivers have been in and changed from the intermediate tyres to whatever dry compound they choose. All 3 compounds in use at the moment for the drivers in the field. It's Cherry 2 Pie in the lead with a brilliant undercut on Shimasi to turn the tables on him, and he's on soft tyres, as is Shimasi in second. Pit Matt, Shimasi's championship rival, is breathing down his neck in third, but on the ultra softs, going for 2 stops. Then it's Red Matt in fourth on soft tyres. Diego Killer fifth, also on the softs. Afric Devils ultra softs, and Frisky CG softs in seventh. Tyne is 8th on the ultras. Ash Richardson 9th on softs, and Looney is 10th, the only man out there on the ultra soft compound. Julian 11th, Backwoodcat 12th, 13th for OTG, and 14th for Jacob, who's having a bit of a nightmare, as pretty much the same nightmare as Ferrari teammate Stephen was having. The Ferrari boys might as well pack up, go home, and just say, well, it's been another weekend to forget. So Shimasi moving again into range. Is the DRS active yet? Yes, it is.
Yes, it's going to open.
So here goes Shimasi. Is he closing quickly enough on Cherry Tupai? This will be the first indication of as to whether he does have the straight line speed to have a look at Cherry Tupai, but so far, so good for Cherry Tupai. Encouraging signs down the Haas. He'll be growing in confidence the longer he can keep Shimasi behind. So 2 laps of fuel in pocket for Shimasi. Cherry Tupai is negative fuel. If he continued at this rate, he would not make the finish. So he's going to have to do some fuel saving. This is not going to be easy. But interestingly, I've got to ask you this. What is going wrong with Pitmat? Why is he dropping off on the ultra soft tyre?
Very strange. I don't know if he's made a mistake. He set the fastest lap on the previous lap, so can't be any major issue. But yeah, maybe a mistake in the middle sector. But as much as we're expecting Shimasi to just breeze past Cherry Tupai, if you're thinking of the championship, he doesn't actually need to. His main rival Pitmat is still behind him. While ever Pitmat's behind him, he can let Cherry Tupai have his fun out for him.
Really? I don't know, Alex. I mean, it is a 3-point cushion. I mean, he does kind of need to increase the cushion, because even if he, right now, he's going to get 3 more points on him, and that's 6 points. And if Pitmat wins the next race, he's behind him, so I think he needs to get him.
He'll try something at some point, but while the conditions are still a bit tricky, he doesn't need to take any unnecessary risks. He can calculate it and, yeah, bide his time, wait for the perfect moment. But he will try it at some point.
Well, let's see if this is the perfect moment. Here comes Shimasi. He's going to open the DRS right now, and he's moving into position here on the back of Cherry Tupai. The Haas getting closer and closer. Is this the moment he puts one hand on that championship trophy? He tries to sweep round the outside of the Haas driver. Remember what Alex said, folks. Don't do anything too silly, Shimasi. And he doesn't do anything silly. He just lets Cherry Tupai hold position for now. Nothing too aggressive. He tried the outside, realised it wasn't going to work, and Cherry Tupai holds station, but Shimasi is lining him up, and that's a great exit there. Surely he's going to move into position as he goes through the long sweeping right-hander. And look at him, he's basically pushing Cherry Tupai through the corner. Shimasi really hungry, determined to extend his championship lead up to what would be around 13 points with a move here on Cherry Tupai. He's having a look up the inside. Oh, no way through yet, but he's really gaining now. Cherry Tupai senses the danger, moves to the inside of the racetrack. Surely Shimasi is going to move alongside. He's going to try and go right round the outside. Cherry Tupai will surely hang him out to dry. There's nearly contact. Shimasi steams right round the outside of Cherry Tupai. They're still side by side, but Cherry Tupai has to get way to the World Championship leader. And is he, Alex? Oh, nearly back through from Cherry Tupai. I was about to say, is he the champion in waiting?
Well, hats off there to Shimasi. He did the dress rehearsal, didn't he, on the back straight, and then executed perfectly into the first corner. Both times leaving Cherry Tupai just the width of the Haas on the inside. Brilliant racing from the pair of them. Cherry Tupai's got to watch he doesn't do a bit of a Jos Verstappen and take the leader out now.
Very. He went diving up the inside, or went for a look up the inside of Shimasi there, trying to skate him off the road. It didn't work out, and now Shimasi has the high ground, has the lead, and is back on course for 25 World Championship points. But will those soft tyres reach the end of the race in a reasonable condition? We'll find out as the laps tick by. We're almost at the halfway stage, and it is now Shimasi back in the lead, with Cherry Tupai second, Pitmat third, and Redmat in fourth, some way back from those three now, and really is starting to spread out as the field goes down. But Cherry Tupai, brilliant move from Shimasi, right on the outside, as you said, Alex, dress rehearsal at the end of the long straight, and then completed the move brilliantly on the edge of the turn one, left Cherry Tupai standing still. There you go, using the karting line, and really went. Well, I see the kart line is dried up now, I should say that, but yeah, great stuff from Shimasi.
Yeah, Shimasi, if he feels it could be a bit tight on those softs yet in the race, he can just ease off a little bit, make sure he's not spinning the wheels out of the corners, just look after the tyres slightly. He's got the fuel to defend from Cherry Tupai on the straights, so he doesn't have to drive flat out at this stage. As we've said, Pitmat is still pinned back there in third place.
Cherry Tupai right on his tail and keeping Shimasi on his tail. This is quite interesting. I'm a bit surprised by this. Shimasi is now in rich fuel, by the way, and trying to get away, but so far no sign of it. And is Cherry Tupai going to fancy a move here as he goes down the straight? He's going to have the DRS And is he going to close and close on that McLaren, or Shimasi got too much straight line speed? The early signs seem to be showing me that Shimasi's got a little bit of straight line speed in his pocket there, Alex, doesn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a massive risk to throw it up the inside of the championship leader from that distance.
Imagine the outrage. Imagine the outrage in the paddock.
That'd go on long into the night.
No, it sure would, and the stewards would have a pretty busy weekend, I think. A pretty busy Sunday night, I should say. No Sunday roast for them. I think they'll be debating long into the night, as you say. And Shimasi still holding on, but Cherry Tupai doing a stellar job of clinging to him through these high-speed corners. It's looking to me like he's got the car set up for the wet conditions, or certainly for these high-speed corners, because you can't get near Shimasi in a straight line. But he's all over him going through these high-speed twisting corners. And Cherry Tupai sticking with him, and Pitman, he's got to be disappointed with himself here. I'm disappointed in him. I expected him to be climbing all over the back of these guys, but he's simply not got the pace, Alex.
Yeah, he seems to have a good lap and then drop off the lap after. He hasn't got consistency at the moment. Interesting with Cherry Tupai, we saw this in Spa on a wide open circuit. He was well up the front for a long period of that race, so clearly liking the more open flowing sort of racetrack.
Yeah, it's a good spot actually. Cherry Tupai loving it in Spa on the front row, and once again flying high here as well in the USA. And is he going to have a look at Shimasi this time? He's going to have a good exit here. He went deep into the corner. Does he have a good exit? It's slightly better than the previous lap, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to have a look at Shimasi. And as you said on the previous lap, it's going to be a very brave man to have a look up the inside of the World Championship leader as he tries to extend his championship lead. And as it is, Cherry Tupai remains stuck in that second place. Let's have a little look further down the field. We've got Arctic Devils having a look here at the back of Diego Killer. He's opened up the DRS. Is he going to have a look going down into the braking zone? He is going to have a look. That's very late on the brakes and very nearly runs into the side of Diego Killer, who kind of seen him coming. I think he opened the steering ever so slightly. In the end, it would have been okay to turn in. I don't think he would have made contact. Arctic just about found the brake pedal in time. But that battle for 5th and 6th raging on. Red Mat just ahead as well. So 4th, 5th and 6th. The podium positions looking rather secure at the moment, aren't they, Alex?
They are at the moment, but of course Pitmat's definitely got another stop to make, so he's got to be looking over his shoulder a little bit, especially while if he does up the pace, he's got two cars in front of him on slower tyres, so he's a little bit stuck at the moment, Pitmat.
Not working at all for Pitman, as you say, and will he be able to come back to the field later on? I mean, he's going to have, thankfully they're in, Arctic Devils and Tyner on the same strategy, so those guys will not be in his way later on. It will be Red Mat, Diego Killer and Frisky CJ who will be having to have a go at, and maybe even Ash Richardson and Julian, who might not be too far back from the... I think actually they might just be outside the window for the pit stop. For Pitmat, he might be able to overtake them guys before, but well, might get to stay ahead of them, I'm not sure. But yeah, a few places that Pitmat will have to make up, and as you say, he really does need to get a move on and start thinking about overtaking the cars in front, as Cherry Tupai again cannot get close enough to Shimasi at the end of that back straight. So lap 16 out of 28, we're beyond the halfway point. It's Shimasi in the lead, Cherry Tupai is second, Pitmat runs in third, his namesake Red Mat runs in fourth, Diego Killer is in fifth with the Arctic Devils sitting in sixth, Frisky CJ is seventh, Tyne is eighth, Julian ninth, and Ash Richardson rounds out the top 10, and actually is under a little bit of pressure from Looney. And there's Looney up the inside of Ash. Oh, what a move! That was beautiful. Now that's what you call a lunge on the brakes, and that's how you do it cleanly. Wonderful lunge from Looney on Ash Richardson to snatch the final point away from one of the championship contenders, or soon to be no longer championship contender if this continues. Brilliant stuff from Looney. I've just caught it at the last second there, diving up the inside of Ash, and through he went up into 10th, and his next target is Julien, who's running in 9th. And Julien, who looked like he had quite a lot of pace in his pocket when he first turned up in Monza, has seemed to just slide back into the midfield of late, Alex. Obviously you've not seen as much as I have in recent weeks, but Julien, from what you've seen of him in Singapore, what are your views so far from what you've seen? Solid midfield driver, or do you think he can aim for better next season?
I think he could possibly aim for better next season. The one race I commentated on him so far, I think, was Singapore. I think he actually finished second on that occasion, so was a bit of a wet dry race as well, and yeah, showing potential. Obviously, the consistency comes with more and more races. But yeah, back to the championship. Well, we had 5 drivers with a mathematical chance coming into this weekend, and we've got 1 out of the race and 1 back in the points now. But Matt Meerkat as well off the points playing position. But one more thing to note, I've just found out that Cherry 2 Pie has 6 seconds worth of penalties. So Pit Matt will be grinning from ear to ear with that news.
Yeah, he will be. Pit Matt will be delighted. Shimasi, even, well, maybe not so much, but I think Shimasi, when he arrives, if he does get through the next 11 laps unscathed, when he arrives in parked firmly at the end of this Grand Prix and sees Skeeven out, Matt Meerkat basically out of the race because he's out of the points, and Ash Richardson picking up 1, I don't think he's going to be too displeased at all. I think he's going to be absolutely delighted because Ash Richardson is basically out of this championship hunt. I mean, oh, he's in the wall. He's out of the race. That looked intentional. And his championship is over. 15 points behind in the championship. Right now, it's going to go up to 40. And Alex, you got to wonder, 40 points, 75 available. It looks like his championship hopes are going to end as well.
Yeah, it's desperation time there, isn't it? So I didn't catch that myself. I think it was straight into the wall intentionally, or did he drop it on the curb out there, or what happened?
Well, maybe he dropped it in the curb. I might spare him that, but he's out. And that's it. Penultimate corner on the exit of that high-speed right-hander, and he's just dropped it into the wall. And there you go. Disastrous weekend for the Renault driver and his championship contenders and rivals, Matt Meerkat as well, and Skeeven, all out of a championship chance pretty much now. Skeeven mathematically, the other 2 pretty much as well. Shimasi though, looking like the man to beat, about to go firm odds-on favourite for this crown if he wasn't already. He certainly is now. 10 laps to go. A lot can happen in 10 laps as Shimasi now picks up a 3-second time penalty, and it doesn't quite equalise it yet with him and Cherry 2 Pie, but it certainly makes it a little bit more interesting, Alex, doesn't it?
Yeah, so what does Matt do from here? Does he try and go as long as possible on this set and have a brand new set towards the end, or does he go for a fresh set now and have them on for longer? It's stuck in the middle of nowhere on strategy at the moment, is he, Pit Matt? The only man out there on Ultra Softs.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It looks like the likes of Arctic Devils and everyone else that went for the Ultra Softs have come in and fitted Super Softs. They obviously feel that might be a slightly quicker than trying to stretch a double Ultra Soft, so should Pit Matt admit defeat, come in now, fit the Supers and start a charge.
It's interesting with Pit Matt because if you take the interest from the start of the race and imagine they were Ultra Softs, Pit Matt's actually done this sort of standard strategy of sort of 9 laps the first stint and then go for another 9 laps and then put the Super Softs on towards the end. Obviously, we think now with that rule of running 2 tyres out the window because of the wet conditions, he'll go for another set of Ultra Softs. But he's done what he thought would be the standard strategy. It's everyone else that's done something different.
Yeah, it's slightly surprising, but I do believe in this game, and this might have what swayed people, that in damp conditions, even after a pit stop, the best tyre to run is the hardest compound available. So that's probably why Pit Matt wasn't really reaping the benefits from Shimasi and Cherry 2 Pie's soft tyres earlier on, because I think for some reason the harder compound worked better in slightly damp conditions. So that might have been why those guys have swayed towards the one stop on the soft tyre, and Pit Matt is now in the pits, and what is he going to put on, I would think, and as you predicted, the standard strategy would be 2 9-lap stints on the Ultras and then 1 stint on the Supers, and yet there you go, Ultra Soft tyre for Pit Matt. And
yeah, it's interesting what you say about the harder tyre there, possibly as well the track being green, of course, it's been washed by the rain. Harder tyre, exactly. Possibly not graining up like the Ultra Soft would.
Yep, absolutely, another thing that could be a factor. So Pit Matt rejoins in 6th position, Alex, and now has to seriously begin a charge because he's under pressure now, because he really needs to make up places in these remaining 8 laps if he wants to keep Shimasi at arm's length at the very least. But these guys on the softs are going to start to struggle a little bit towards the end, and then maybe Pit Matt can start making some inroads, Ash. That's Alex, sorry.
No worries there. Yeah, he's got some work to do, definitely. As you say, the softs out there will be getting pretty much past their best within a few laps' time, so he's got the better tyre now, but he's got a lot of work to do, and what he's got to make sure he doesn't do is pick up any penalties, because that'll make his job a lot more harder.
Yeah, absolutely, and the pressure that's on him. I mean, I don't know. I just think he has to. There's a possibility errors could come. Corner cuts, as you say, they could crop up, and bumping against the side of cars is another thing that could quite easily happen. We know Frisky CJ, who's the next car up the road, is a very, very tough customer when it comes to overtaking. So Pit Matty will be wary, but at the same time, he does kind of need to throw the kitchen sink at this, because if he doesn't and stays in 6th place, the championship gap really does start to extend. And here we go then, CJ, you see him sliding a little bit coming out of that final corner. Is Pit Mat in position to make a move already? He's got the DRS open on the run into that first corner. Is he going to try a lunge into turn 1? He is going to have a look up the inside of Frisky CJ. Is he going to make the move stick? Oh, he is going to make it stick. And surprisingly, CJ not really interested in fighting that too hard. Alex, was he caught by surprise, or do you think he wasn't interested whatsoever in a battle?
At this stage, probably not that interested in getting into a fight with Pit Mat. It's obvious that it's going to get him at some point towards the end of the race. He's got Arctic Devils behind on super softs, as you would think would be the better tyre over CJ, so probably just keeping the gap behind him and accepting that Pit Mat is going to come through sooner or later. May as well save his tyres and not get into any sort of incident. Yeah. Interesting, Pit Mat doesn't really help him at the moment because he's still got to make moves, but including CJ, every car ahead of him has penalties. Shimasi has 3 seconds, I believe. Cherry 2 Pie, Red Mat and Diego Killer, I think all have 6 seconds.
Well, even if he doesn't get them, he should gain a few places then. Here comes Pit Mat. Cherry 2 Pie picks up another one, and that pretty much makes Pit Mat favourite to get him.
That helps Pit Mat massively. Just tip the scale in his favour there.
So the limiting the damage looks like a good thing. So he's 22 seconds behind Shimasi. It's coming down quite quickly, but that is really 3 seconds less than that. It's 19 seconds. Keep an eye on how much you can close that over the next few laps, because those tyres will really start to get difficult. I've done it before myself, the one stop, and it is brutal around this track. I'm actually a little bit surprised they went for softs, but as I mentioned at the top of the, or earlier on in the show, the soft tyres work better in damp conditions, and that's probably why these drivers chose it. And it's been proven here, because Pit Mat's going to be up against it in the closing lap to close it down. But Shimasi holding Cherry 2 Pie back with 6 to go, and he's got that in the pocket because Cherry 2 Pie has got 6 seconds more worth of penalties now. And Alex, who else did you say? Did you say Red Mat and Diego have also got 6 seconds from me?
Yeah, I think that's what I've managed to add up at the moment. So, yeah. As you say,
we should note, sorry, that Diego Killer is now going side by side with Red Mat, and he's actually interested in making a move here into the podium places. For how long it will last with all these penalties, I'm not sure. He's going side by side. He's easily overtook him well before the braking zone, and the McLaren driver makes it a double McLaren podium up into 3rd place for Diego Killer, and Red Mat left trailing in his wake, and really these two cannot afford to battle with the charging Pit Mat coming at them, can they?
They can't, but Diego Killer's McLaren's getting pretty light at the minute. He's 0.3 of a lap under his fuel target, so he's going to have to start saving fuel at some point there.
He sure is. So Diego Killer under threat from a Red Mat again, I would think, pretty soon. But he's in rich fuel, and he's letting it continue in rich. 0.4 now. Pit Mat, as you see.
From Pit Mat.
He's coming. He's looking good for this podium. It's like the key is now whether he can get these two guys quickly enough to close the time down to Cherry 2 Pie, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be wasting any time behind them. The problem is they're fighting amongst themselves. If there were a couple of seconds between them, it'd be a much easier situation for Pit Mat to pick off one by one.
Well, he is up against it. He's got 5 more laps to do it. 5 more laps to make 3 places. He will beat Cherry 2 Pie, you would think, if he can get past these two guys quickly. But the crucial point is, as we keep saying, Pit Mat up against it, pushing hard in a championship battle. He might go out there himself and get a penalty, and under real pressure. And if he can get up into that second place, the damage isn't too bad. Shimasi would only go 10 points clear in the championship. And I suppose if you're going to lose out to Shimasi in this race, I suppose that's about as far as you can afford to lose out when he's already 3 points in front of you, Alex, isn't it?
Yeah, he needs to be on the podium at least. As you say, second place would limit the damage to a 10-point gap. There should be 3 races left. He's more than doable. But yeah, he doesn't want to be throwing any points away. But as you say, he needs to make sure he does not get a penalty at all, because this race will come towards him. Obviously, with the penalties applied at the end. So if he can stay away from penalties, he'll jump right up the order.
He sure will, as he now begins to line up. Red Matt for a move. Red Matt feels the need to go defensive to the inside. That's not worked, because Pit Matt on the exit with so much better tyres is going to go side by side, and I'm not even going to get too excited, or maybe I should get too excited, because they're going side by side, and Pit Matt, oh, into that corner. I was not expecting that. I thought the move would be done easily before then. I thought Pit Matt would have too much traction, too much grip in those tyres, but in the end he did just about get to the corner before Red Matt did, and if they met there in the middle, Alex, it would have been a pretty big shunt, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit sort of trying to shut the gate after the horse had bolted, really, from Red Matt. He completely outbraked himself into the first corner. But as we said earlier, does he really need to take that fight? His fight's probably with Diego Killer at the moment. He can get onto the back of Pit Matt and try and follow him through.
Yeah, sure will. And Alex, how many penalties did you see say Frisky CJ had? Because that's another one Red Matt needs to watch. Around 7 seconds between them at the moment. Red Matt's got 6 seconds to his name.
I think CJ's got 6 seconds himself. I'll just try and total up the leaders' penalties.
Pit Matt not really looking good here, actually. I'm looking again at Cherry 2-Pie. 3.8 would become what? 3.8 off the Shimasi with 4 seconds basically would become 13 seconds behind Shimasi, which means Pit Matt is currently around 4 seconds away, 4.5 seconds from catching Cherry 2-Pie with around 3.5 laps to go. He needs to get past Diego Killer and then get that cushion shortened. So is Diego Killer the key to Cherry 2-Pie holding on to second position here? Pit Matt needs to find a way through, and fast, if he wants to go on in this World Championship and be a threat through Shimasi. Already a threat, but a much bigger threat. The podium awaits. That's right in front of him. The taste of the champagne, and a 5th successive podium finish as he heads down the hill into that extremely tight airpin. I've got to ask you that if I'll wait till this move's done, because I'm pretty certain it's going to be done here as you go down the straight. The DRS about to be opened on that Toro Rosso. The McLaren of Diego Killer senses danger. Is Pit Matt going to complete the move on the brakes down here? He's not close enough though, is he? Whoa, nowhere near close enough, Alex.
No, not yet. And Diego Killer, I think, was in rich mode down there. He's changed to lean for the twisty section here, so a bit tight on fuel. But yeah, Pit Matt really probably do with giving it everything himself on the fuel.
He needs to pass Diego Killer on this lap if he wants to be getting Cherry 2-Pie at least into turn 1. Because Cherry 2-Pie, yeah, he is. And here we go, penultimate turn, right on the tail of Diego Killer. This is pressure stuff for Pit Matt. He needs to complete the move. Will he try it in the final corner? No. He will get the chance now. Better exit than Diego Killer, I would think. Oh, it's pretty even. Diego Killer holding on. He will get defensive, I would think, Diego Killer, but it's such a wide entry into this corner. It makes it very difficult to defend. And Pit Matt dives for the inside. Takes the shallow line. Penalty. Does he have the traction? He gets the penalty. There's the penalty what we talked about. The penalty we were concerned about that Pit Matt might pick up trying to overtake these cars. And Alex, you called it. He's got it. And now he's right up against it if he wants that podium place.
Yeah, I think he's still on for third. I'm sure Diego Killer has picked up an extra penalty. But yeah, that's Cherry 2-Pie probably sitting pretty comfortable now. He's got quite a gap despite his...
He's going up the inside. Here we go. Completes the move. Easy move there for Pit Matt. Now, this is the question. Can he get Cherry 2-Pie? So let's just add 6 seconds instead of 9 to Cherry 2-Pie. So what's that? 3.7 would become what? Around 9.8. So Pitmat is never going to get him, is he?
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good for Pitmat, and Shimasi will be smiling so much in his helmet. It'll be the biggest smile in Texas, I'm telling you. 10 points is going to go up. It's going to go up to 13 World Championship points, and that's a reasonable cushion to take to the next Grand Prix, isn't it?
Yeah, 13 points with 3 races left. He's still very much on the table. He's sort of limited the damage in a way that Ash, Matt Meerkat and Skeven haven't. So it's not a disastrous weekend for Pitmat, but he needs to start pulling these points back.
Yep, it's getting to the point of urgency. The point of urgency has been reached and beyond for Skeven. His championship hopes are over. The same as pretty much can be said for Matt Meerkat, who is chasing Looney for one solitary point. I don't think he's going to get it. And Ash Richardson, who is out of the race as well. Those three look pretty much doomed in this championship battle. And Pitmat, not doomed yet, but certainly on the back foot as we head to Mexico next weekend. So Shimasi in the lead, about to start his final lap as he heads down into the twisty section. Cherry Tupai following him all the way. I've got to ask you, Alex, can you nominate a driver of the day? Who would you nominate as your 3 men for driver of the day this afternoon?
You've got to start with Shimasi. Perfect, sort of faultless drive really. Cherry Tupai as well for his pretty brilliant early lap in qualifying, and to be honest, it's looking like the top 3 really, isn't it? It's contenders for driver of the day. Pitmat with some great moves as well.
Potentially Arctic Devils up 7 places from 14th. He's putting a good show, decent pace. I think Arctic Devils deserves a shout personally. I think he's done really well this afternoon, up 7 places.
Yeah, some good progress there.
I personally would go Shimasi, Cherry Tupai and Arctic Devils. That's my 3. Who's your 3? Oh, as Cherry Tupai gets a big slide as Red Matt now picks him another penalty. What's that gap down at now? Oh, he's closing it massively. He's coming for them. Oh, that's the interval. Sorry, that's the interval. I was reading the wrong thing. My apologies. Then the gap between them 12.7. So that's it. But yeah, I'm going to go Shimasi, Cherry Tupai and Arctic Devils. Who are you going for, Alex? Top 3?
I'd go for the top 3, but who am I to argue? Arctic Devils. I'd put this the 3rd one then.
Okay, well there you go then. Shimasi, Cherry Tupai and Arctic Devils. But yeah, Pitmat, I just felt he was going to come charging through the field and really start threatening Shimasi. It's not worked out. I don't think he had the pace on those ultras, and I think that's why I'm going to leave him out on this occasion. I just don't think he's showing the pace that we expected on that 2-stop. Well, let's go to Shimasi, who's called it absolutely perfectly here this afternoon in the United States, in Texas. It was raining at the start of the afternoon. They had to make a decision, 1 stop or 2. Shimasi chose 1. It was the right decision as his title rivals fell away all around him. Shimasi took to full advantage. He wins the US Grand Prix and builds a title lead to 13 over Pitmat. There was 5 title contenders going into this. Realistically, there is only 2 left. Shimasi wins from a brilliant Cherry Tupai in 2nd. Pitmat, a slightly dejected 3rd, you could maybe say, with Diego Killer across the line in 4th. Red Matt will see the flag in 5th, and Frisky CJ sees it in 6th, but that becomes 5th on penalties ahead of Red Matt. Arctic Devils 7th, and it will be Time and Julian and Looney 8th, 9th, 10th. Our Matt Meerkat might just about squeeze a point out of this. Let's keep an eye on him. Trying to close up on Looney, and it looks like this is the perfect weekend for Shimasi. I can't wait to hear the team radio. I think the engineers will be saying Matt Meerkat 11th, Ash Richardson 12th, Skeven 16th. They're out of the championship. That's what they'll be saying to him on the radio. And Shimasi, this has been the perfect weekend, Alex, hasn't it? Absolutely perfect.
Yep, faultless. Bit of a scare around the pit stop with Cherry Tupai undercutting him, but yeah, brilliant move around the outside. Absolutely perfectly executed race. A bit of a shout out as well for CJ, up 5 places. Just missing out on a driver of the day vote as well there.
Yeah, and there he is, Shimasi, up on the podium, absolutely delighted. He extends his title advantage to 13 points, and then he leaves the session. How convenient that he disconnects now. Imagine he disconnected earlier. But the champion is spraying. He is now the firm favourite for this World Championship as we go to Mexico next weekend. Pitmat, he'll be satisfied. It's a 5th successive podium. What a run that is he's putting together. But it's not enough to halt the Shimasi charge at the moment. And it's Shimasi who does win the United States Grand Prix. Cherry Tupai, great effort to finish in 2nd. Probably his best performance of the season so far. Pitmat brings it home in 3rd. Diego Killer, the Dutchman, in 4th. Frisky CJ was 5th. Red Matt came home 6th. Alec Devils up 7 places from 14th in the grid to come home in 7th. Tyne and Julian, the 2 Dutch drivers, followed each other home in 8th and 9th. And Looney rounded out the top 10. Title contenders Matt Meerkat, Ash Richardson and Skeeven all fall by the wayside. Coming up, we've got the drivers' interviews, and hopefully it will go well. We're just adding drivers' interviews this weekend. We think it adds to the immersion, and to hear from the drivers, and particularly Shimasi Alex. I think he's going to be absolutely delighted, isn't he?
I think he will be. Will we actually get to speak to him? Hopefully get him back.
Yeah, hopefully we will. Yeah, of course, because he disconnected, that's right. I'm just going to have a quick look now and see if I can get these guys in. So if anyone's watching the stream, give me a minute. I think Jamie might be trying it already. No, Jamie's not trying it. I think I'll do it. Of course, because Jamie's got the stream, I'm not on the stream. I keep forgetting that. But yeah, I'm going to go on and invite these guys now and see if we can get them. But Shimasi extending that lead out now to 13 points. He's got to be firm favourite for the championship. Alex, can you see Pitmat closing from here, or do you think it's Shimasi all the way to the flag now?
It's interesting that Pitmat's put this run of podiums together. If he keeps doing that, Shimasi could drop points at some point. It's got to be podiums all the way for Pitmat and see what happens.
It sure is. Let's see if I can get... Well, there's Pitmat. I'm going to invite him now. We can get Pitmat in here. Hopefully Shimasi will be online so I can add him. Cherry Tupai, I don't think... Have I got Cherry Tupai as a friend? No, I don't. So I'll look. We can get him. Get him in here.
Hello.
Oh, there's Pitmat. There's one of the drivers. There's one man. We'll try and get the rest of them, and then we'll begin the interviews in a few moments' time. Try and get. I've not actually got any of these guys on my friends list. Cherry Tupai, or I think Shimasi went offline. Let's see what we can do.
I will suggest them for you. I will suggest both of them.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Nope.
Oh, I've got one of them then.
Oh, alright.
Oh.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Shimasi in and then we can start the interviews. It's the first time we've done the interviews, well, since Canada when Alex done them, so hopefully all goes well. And an eventful afternoon here today in Texas. We had a wet start, 9 laps of wet weather, then we had some interesting strategy decisions as we then found out that some drivers went for 2 stops, some drivers went for the 1 stop, and it appeared that the 1 stop was the better choice. So while we wait on Shimasi, I'm going to ask Pitmat then, title rival Pitmat in 3rd position. Pitmat, your thoughts on that? Did it go to plan today? Are you a bit worried? Do you think Shimasi's got too much? Tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, it didn't exactly go to plan. I could have swore that the softs wouldn't last the whole 20 laps, to be honest. Just because the fact is, well, we did half a race in before, and we were getting about 5 laps. That's like 5% per lap on the softs. So I thought with that it's nowhere near going to get 20 laps done. And obviously the wet period finished with lap 8 or lap 9, so I knew that it wouldn't get to the end. So I thought a 2-stop was the best strategy, but obviously not. I mean, it didn't exactly affect my position, but I obviously could have been a lot nearer to Cam and Shimasi if I went the same way that they did.
Okay, well, I have to agree with you, Pit Matt. I think me and Alex kind of had an agreement in the commentary box that the 2 stops seemed like the fastest option, even after the intermediates run. But it turned out wrong, and we came to the assumption that the harder tyre was the better tyre to run in slightly damp changing conditions. And,
yeah, that's what
yeah.
I found out the hard way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask Cam. Cam, is that why you did it?
Well, me and Matt were in the same party, and I did say to him that the harder the compound do seem to be better on the kind of damp track. But yeah, we both did a sim before. I've seen other people gone from lap 8 to the end, literally, but their tyres were about to burst. I crossed the line with about 76%, so it was touch and go with me. But I mean, on another day, if the rain stopped a couple of laps earlier, I think Matt would have definitely been on the right strategy.
Well, unfortunate for you, Matt. For you, Matt. So yeah, I've got to ask you, Cherry 2 Pie or Cam, today, or Ricky, we could call you Ricky.
Who knows?
We'll just go with Cam for now, I think. But yeah, Cam, that was some performance. 2nd place. Where did you pull that one from?
I mean, over recent weeks, I think I've had the pace to actually be at the top, but I'm not very good in the wet, and then other tracks I've been really inconsistent. Like at the start of the season I was alright, but a couple of races ago I went through like a streak of like 4 DNFs in a row. One of them at Malaysia, I was in like P3, but the wet came and I literally died. I'm terrible in the wet, so I was alright today. Just hoping for Shimasi not to get too far away, and in the end I actually jumped him somehow, so yeah, hopefully a couple more results at the end of the season.
Yeah, and what was your overriding feeling when you jumped Shimasi in the pitch? You must have been like, oh my god, how did that happen?
Well, I was surprised. The gap was like 3 seconds when I went in, because obviously me and Matt were talking in the party. We were like, is it time? It looks dry. So we were like, Shimasi's gone. If we're going to get anywhere in this race, we've got to go in. So we went in. I got in front of him. Matt was just behind, and to be honest, we both came out nearly side by side outside the pits, gaining 3 seconds overall, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. We and Alex were a bit bemused, but we expected you to have closed, but to take the lead, we were very, very surprised. And then, of course,
I mean, to be fair to him, he had excellent pace after it. I mean, he was, for like the first opening laps, I think we were both still getting used to the conditions, because you're still going to brake at the normal points and everything, and the traction was a bit iffy, but at the end of the day, his straight line speed was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I was on the back of him sometimes, and I couldn't gain one little bit, and he was still pretty decent in the 1st and 3rd, so I wasn't able to gain that much.
Yeah.
Well, you can say the same thing about his teammate. Deagle's straight line speed was absolute madness. When I had DRS, I was losing time to him down the back straight when I got past him.
Yeah, we picked up on that as well. We saw that, particularly Cam in that final sector, I think through that high-speed right-hander, you were gaining a wee bit on Shimasi and starting to...
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to think of places to actually overtake, because I just saw there was no way I was going to get past him in the straight, so I had to get a bit inventive, but I never actually got close enough. I think there was one lap, just before he got past me, where I was actually thinking of going around the outside into sector 1 through the S's, but I didn't want to risk the position that early on.
Yeah, well, hard luck. And I've got to ask you, but what about Shimasi's move on you? It was a good move, wasn't it? It was a lovely move around the outside.
Yeah, it was a good move, to be fair. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for Shimasi on and off the track, so I know he's a good racer, and obviously I've watched him in the ULC and everything, so I know what he's capable of, and he's not just going to shove me off the tracks. So, yeah, I knew what I was expecting when he was side by side with me.
Well, we do not have Shimasi with us. He doesn't have a mic. He can't find his mic, so that's unfortunate.
Hopefully he's watching.
He's watching it.
Arctic Devils in here, since he's the final nomination for Driver of the Day.
If you want. Okay, if you want, I suppose.
Get Dan up and amongst it.
We'll get him in.
Is this just an IF Leagues party?
God's sake.
Let's have a look. Let's get him in here. I want to go back to you, Pit Matt, as a title contender. You've seen 3 of the title rivals. Well, we'll say there was 5, right? If we include Skeeven at a long shot. Skeeven is now out of it mathematically. It's looking like Ash Richardson and Matt Meerkat's hopes are dead in the water as well. So on that side of the coin, you must be happy. They're out of it. But on the other side of the coin, Shimasi extends that advantage, and 13 points. Can you turn that round, do you think?
Well, we'll see. Obviously, the more people that's out of the championship, the better it is for me. But yeah, Shimasi's just ridiculously quick. I can't match the pace probably hand on hand with Shimasi. He's just ridiculous in terms of quality and the race. Like, you can't beat him in either bit. So it's going to be a difficult one. You've got to either outwit him in terms of strategy, which I obviously didn't today, the complete opposite of what I was meant to do. But yeah, we will see. He's a very tough customer. He's a very tough customer to beat. 13 points. It's not a ridiculous gap to pull back. I mean, there's still quite a few races. Obviously, we've got Monaco to come as well. Since we didn't do it earlier on in the season.
I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, we've still got Monaco to come because we didn't do it for some reason. I can't remember why.
There were low numbers.
Yeah, so we're doing that race again. So there's still quite a few races to get up there. I mean, it's definitely not over. 13 points is, like I say, not a ridiculous amount to pull back, but we just got to hope and pray. Just get some decent results, keep getting the podiums, and hopefully Shimasi will not get a podium at least for one or two of the races, and we can pull the points back that way.
So do you feel that Shimasi on pace, you don't have the chance, and you think it's all down to whether he can be consistent or not? Is that really what you think?
I would.
As long as you're consistent.
Yeah, if I just know that I can do the best job that I can, which I know that I've probably got the pace to get the third or fourth places, like I've had the whole season ready to get third or fourth places, then I know I've still got a chance, because I know that I've just got to do that. Whereas Shimasi is like Skeevan in the sense that he has the outright pace to probably win every single race, but it's just things here and there that go wrong for both of them that has cost Skeevan obviously more than Shimasi. But Shimasi obviously has had his ups and downs as well, but he's still up there. He's still obviously winning the thing, winning the championship. So we will see, but we've just got to keep practicing, keep getting our head down, and we'll eventually hopefully get there. Yeah, we need to, I seriously need to practice more.
Well, we'll see how that plans out next week in Mexico for Pit Matt, as the championship battle goes from 5 to 2. But let's take a sidestep from the championship and let's go to Arctic Devils. We couldn't get the race winner, but we certainly got a Driver of the Day nomination in here. Up 7 places, Arctic, from 14. So you must be happy with that. It was a pretty decent performance, wasn't it?
To be honest, I think it was main consistent, but at the rain of the start, I thought, well, everyone is going to pile up on turn 1, but I just kind of held back, and yeah, some people just went kamikaze on it, and yeah, kept my head down, and since I had that qualifying ban in Italy due to that collision with Shimasi, which I did apologize for that. Yeah, I just kept my head down, just keep my pedal to the metal, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job, Arctic. Up 7 places. Kept trying to get through on CJ and Diego Killer and at one point in the race, but just couldn't find a way through.
Well, they just had the better pace, really. So I was like running in the drier setup for the qualifying, along with the DRS straight. They had basically they just had the better pace, really.
Okay, well done in your nomination anyway for Driver of the Day. Hopefully you can try and pick up that award for today, alongside you on the Driver of the Day, by the way. Just to let you know, it's Cherry Tupai, who's also given he's a nomination for Driver of the Day, and of course the race winner and championship leader Shimasi, who's extended his advantage now to 13 points. Can Pit Matt stop him? If he can't, nobody can, because the rest have been left trailing in his wake. So let's find out next week as we go to Mexico with me and hopefully Alex there next Friday at the usual time, 8:30, for the Mexican Grand Prix. So it's thanks to Alex, myself, and thanks to all you guys for doing some podium interviews with us and taking the time out to do it. And we'll see you next week in Mexico. Goodbye.